Today I'm building this shoe storage in order to turn this disaster here that I have overflowing of shoes into this beautiful piece of work right here. There's an area to place decorations or plants on top, and this one came in a pleasing rustic brown finish. So before we get started with the assembly process, let's make sure that we have all the parts that we need for the installation. We should have one of these number 1 boards right here. You'll see that it has these holes in it for the cam locks right there, and this is about 30.5 inches long. Then we have boards number 2 and 3 here, and they're quite similar because they both have this edge here that's rounded like this, and they both have holes on the bottom, again for cam locks and places for the pins and things like that. So the way to tell them apart is to put them together like this so that the rounded edges are right here with those holes facing away from you, and then on the left here will be number 3 and on the right here will be number 2. Board number 4 is a perfect rectangle here that is about 31.75 of an inch long in this direction, and it has some holes on each sides of it. There's 4 on this side. If you flip it over, there's 2 on that side, and it's the same mirrored thing over here as well. Boards 5 and 6 are a bit slimmer, and they have these holes on the end of them right here. You can see this one has 2 holes, and this one has 1 hole in the end of it. So the one with 1 hole is number 5. The one with 2 holes is number 6. There are 2 number 7s. They're these larger panels with the big X's on them. For number 8, there's 2 of these matte metal pieces right here. For numbers 9 and 10, you get these 3 metal bars here. 2 of them are number 9s, and they're these ones here that have these very distinct holes in the sides of them. And number 10, as you can see, doesn't have any holes in any of the sides like that. It just has connection points on the end right here. There are 2 number 11s, and they look a lot like the 5 and 6s, but they don't have any holes in the ends of them. And you should get 4 of these number 12 boards, which are just under 30 inches long. Now let's take a look at the hardware bag. In package AB, we should get the cam bolts and the cam locks. I'll show you how to use these. Bag C has these 30mm wood dowels. Bag D has 14mm screws. Bag E and F has these 18mm bolts, 4 of them, and 2 of these handles here. G has these 4 plastic screws. Bag H has the 4 plastic plugs. I and J are these 4 shoebox supports. Bag K has these 4 plastic pins. Bag L has 2 drywall screws. Bag M has 6 M4 30mm screws. Bag N has 2 M4 40mm screws. Bag O has 6 of these 35mm bolts. Bag P has a small Allen wrench for us. And Bag Q has these M4 25mm screws. To get started with the assembly, we need boards number 2 and 3. And I'm going to set that down on my blanket so that these holes on it are facing upwards and I have access to them. So just like this. And we need bag AB, we need all the cam locks and the cam bolts. And we're gonna need a Phillips head screwdriver. I'm using my electric one here for ease of use. Now on each of our boards, we'll find this edge right here, and the hole that's closest to it, we'll insert one of our bolts right there. And the key here is to make sure that this edge right here is flat against the surface. So screw it in as tight as you can without over tightening it, of course. Now we come to this opposite corner over here, and we'll find 1 hole right here as close to the corner as possible. And then we'll find 3 more right here. We want to put a bolt in this corner that's close to the corner, and then the one that is in the middle here that is at an angle from that one. So we should get 1 right here and 1 right here. And now we're gonna stay on this part of the board here where we just inserted those 2 screws, and we're gonna move downwards on this length of the board here until we find these 2 holes right here, and we're going to enter the new bolts right there. Now for this board, we should have 2 bolts right there, 2 more right here, and 1 more right here. Now let's repeat that same process with the other board. Place 1 bolt right here, another right here, 1 in the corner here, 1 diagonal from that right here, and the last one in the far corner right here. Now we're going to need hardware bags G and K. And we're also going to need a little hammer. Now for letter G, we're gonna follow this curved edge right here until we get to this hole right here, and then all the way down there's another one right here, and our G's are going to go in there. So we can take them like this and insert them gently into those holes there, and then we'll have to hammer them down. And those should end up nice and flat like that. Let's do that for 2 on this board and 2 on the other board. And now on each of these boards, we'll find these double holes right here, one right there, and then further down, another one right here. We're going to hammer our K's into those. And to align that properly, you'll want to make sure that this open edge over here, you'll see this side is closed. We want this open edge to point away from this curved edge down here. So take your open edge like this. You can see here is the open edge, and I'm going to angle it away from that curved edge when I hammer it in, and we'll do that with all of them. And these should end up nice and flat against this surface as well. And let's do that for both of these boards. Now let's grab our two number 8s and our two number 9 posts. Grab 4 of these bolts from bag letter O, and from bag letter P, grab the hex key. I'm going to attach the matching key to my electric here and just use that. Now let's align our two number 8s so that the corner that doesn't have the hole on it are coming together like this. And we're going to insert our number 9s in between these two right here and these two right here. So the ones that are on the longer bars away from each other. So we'll take one of the bolts and we'll insert it through the corner like this. And then we can take our number 9 and we can start twisting it on there like this to get it started. Now you can see that I've got that started. I'm going to finish that up about 80% of the way. I'm not going to finish it all the way quite yet until they're all ready. And in the end, we're going to want the orientation of these number 9 bars right here to have these holes in the same direction that this opening right here is on. So they're pointing basically up and down in accordance with the shorter arm right here. Now let's connect both of those number 9s to both of those number 8s, again, making sure to only screw them in 80% of the way. And now that that's all connected, we can set that off to the side for a moment. For the next part, we need boards number 1 as well as number 5. We need 2 of the wooden dowels from bag C, the remaining 2 bolts from bag O, and 2 of the screws from bag letter M. Now on this long edge of number 1 here, we're going to find these holes right here. We can actually take our wood dowels and we can insert one of them right there, and then we come down here to the other one over here and we take our other wooden dowel and we insert it there like that. Now on our number 5 right here, we're going to see that on one side of the board we have an assortment of 2 holes right here, and if we flip it over, we see an assortment of 3 holes right here. Let's make sure we have it on this side, and then those wooden dowels are going to plug into these holes on the inside. This one right here and this one right here. So we're going to connect number 1 to number 5 simply by bringing those holes together like that. And now on the back of the number 5 here, we'll find these 2 holes again, and we're going to take our screws from bag letter M and drill one in right there, and the other one will drill in right there. Now we're going to take our number 2 board that we have already set up before, and we're going to have it laid out flat in front of us so that the curved edge is on our bottom left. Now let's grab 2 of the cam locks, as well as board number 6. And on the edge, we're going to find these 2 holes right here, and we're going to align them with these 2 cam bolts right here in the middle of board 6, and we're going to drop them into place just like this. Keep in mind that the holes where the cam locks will be inserted are on the opposite side of number 6 over here, pointing away from board 2. So that we should see those holes like this with the cam bolts sticking out. Now in order to properly insert these cam locks right here, the correct orientation will be that we want this side facing out, because this is where our screwdriver is going to go, and this side facing in. Now you'll find this little U-shaped notch right here. This U-shaped notch should be pointing in the direction that the cam bolt is exiting from. So in this case, if the cam bolt is pointing up, like it will be down here, then we want that little U-shape right there to be pointing down. So it should enter in like this. And the other one with the same way, that U-shape pointing down like that. And these cam locks usually take anywhere from 1/4 to 1 full turn in order to properly lock themselves into place. And now they should be nice and solid. And now we can take 3 of the wood dowels from bag C, and staying with our number 2 piece here, we're going to find holes here, here, and here, and we'll insert them as 1, 2, 3 like that. And now we can go back to that number 1 and that number 5 piece that we put together that looks like this, and we're going to find the edges of them here have corresponding holes that those wood dowels and the cam bolts will go into. So we're just going to take this piece and drop it into place basically like this. And you'll see that in the orientation of this, the longer piece of number 5 over here will be sticking out in this direction away from the board. And the shorter side of it over here will be facing towards the inwards piece of that board there. And now we're going to take 3 more of the cam locks and insert them into boards 1 and 5. So we'll come down to this corner right here and insert our cam lock, again with that orientation of the U shape facing downwards towards the bolt. And we give that 1/4 to a full turn and lock it into place. Now we can rotate this board and we can come down here to do the same thing on this hole here and this hole here. And now that should be sturdy and upright like that. Now we can grab 3 of the wooden dowels, and on the top of this piece here, we're going to insert 1 right here, it's the second hole, 1 right here, it's the 3rd hole from this side, so 1, 2, 3, and then 1 right here that's in the corner of number 5. And now we're going to take our number 3 board that we've already made, and we're going to make sure that our curved edges are aligned as we drop this into place on top of what we've already built here. So in the back, we'll be connecting this one right here, these 2 holes, with the 2 cam bolts right there. And then on the front here, we'll be connecting the wooden dowels and the other cam bolts up here. And now we'll need 5 more of those cam locks to keep that in place. And make sure that those U shapes are pointing towards wherever the bolts are coming from. So in this case, the bolt right here is going down this way, which means that the U shape should be facing upwards this way to lock into place like that. 1/4 turn to a full turn to lock that in, and we're good to go. We've got 2 more of those back here, so we'll get those into place as well. Again, making sure that the bolts and the locks are in the correct orientation, and then locking them into place with a 1/4 to a full turn. And then the last 2 are down here. Again, make sure that those cam locks, the U-shaped parts, are pointed upwards towards the bolts that are coming downwards, and lock those into place. Now it should be coming together a little bit, looking like this. Now we're going to need 4 of the wood dowels and the remaining 4 screws from bag letter M, so we can attach board number 4 to what we've already built. Let's place what we've already built onto the floor like this. And then our board number 4, you can see has 2 holes on this side right here, and if we flip it over, we have 4 holes here. These 2 interior holes are where we can place our wood dowels. One right there, the other right there, and then we can come to the other side of the board and do the same thing on these 2 interior holes. A wood dowel there, and a wood dowel there. And we're going to align them with the holes that we find on the bottom of the structure that we've already built over here. We'll simply fold these up into place and make sure that all of those holes come together. Now we'll find these remaining 4 holes on the bottom of number 4 here and screw them into place with our screws from bag letter M. And now with that assembled looking like that, we need 6 of the screws from bag letter Q. And now we're going to take this piece that we assembled earlier and we're going to attach it to the bottom of number 4 right here. Now make sure that the correct orientation for this is number 1, you want these number 9 bars in the orientation that the screws will go through the holes and up into number 4. And then you'll also want to make sure that you have this piece here, there's one corner that doesn't have a hole. It's going to be facing upwards like this on the same angle over here where you have your rounded edges up top. And now let's find these 3 holes in the number 9s right here, and we're going to line them up with some small holes that we find on the bottom of number 4 right here. Again, make sure these only go in 80% of the way. We're not drilling these ones in 100% yet. 80% there, 80% there, and 80% right there. And now I'll do the same thing along this railing here. Now we'll take our last 2 bolts from bag letter O, and we're going to attach it right here in the back of these 2 legs, putting one of the bolts O through here, and screwing that in, and then the other one on this side. Again, let's get just both of those started at 80%. And then it should be all together looking like this, and a little bit wobbly because we have it at 80% for now. But if we're certain it's all aligned properly now we can tighten up that entire base. Now this whole piece should be nice and solid, and we can set it off to the side. Because now we can take one of our number 7s and set it down so the X is facing downwards. And now we'll need 6 screws from bag letter D, as well as 1 letter I and 1 letter J. Letter I is the left one, you can see a small L here, and letter J is the right one, you'll see an R there. And we're going to connect these to number 7 like this. More precisely, you'll notice that these little tabs right here will be facing inwards, and they're going to align with holes here, here, and here, so we'll screw them in like that. And you want to make sure that this rounded edge of these arms faces this direction towards these 2 holes up here where a handle is going to go in. So let's screw both of these into place. Once those are attached like that, we can then grab one of these handles here, along with 2 of the bolts that you'll find in the same bag. And we take those bolts and push them through the holes at the top here, through the back of number 7, and we'll put the handle on the front and screw those in. And I'm making sure that I have both of them started before I tighten either one up. And now that handle should be nice and solid on there. Now we'll take the other number 7 and repeat that exact same process. We'll take our I and J and align them properly like this, how we're supposed to, with these tabs facing inwards towards the middle of the board and the curved parts pointing upwards towards the holes up here for the handle. And now this may be a little confusing because J has the R on it, that's the right one, but when I set it on the ground like this, it's actually on the left. And that's because once we open the drawers, this will be on the right, but while we're putting it together, it looks like it's on the left. Now let's use 6 more of those D screws to screw both of those in. Once those are in nicely, we can grab our handle and the other 2 bolts from that same bag. Again, we're going to take those bolts, put them through the back of number 7 right here, and then line that up with the handle as we screw those into place. And again, I want to get both of these started before I tighten either one, otherwise it might be a little difficult to get the second one going. And now we should have 2 number 7s with the shoe racks attached and the handles attached as well. Now we're going to attach our number 11 to those doors right there, and this is pretty simple. We're just going to come down into these I's and J's right here, and it's going to lock into place pretty simply like that. You can see it kind of just fits perfectly into this piece right here, and pretty simply as well. Now we need 2 of our bolts from bag letter D to keep those in place. One of them can be drilled into this hole over here, and there is a pre-drilled hole in number 11 for it to go into. And then we can go to the other edge and do the exact same thing over here. And now those 2 screws should have this firmly in place. And now we can come to this long piece right here, and we'll take a number 12 board and we'll insert it into the long piece like that. And with another one of those screws from bag D, we can tighten that into place with a screw right here. And now we can come to the other side and do the exact same thing by inserting it in the long end here and using another screw from bag D to tighten it up right here. And now one of our drawers should be looking like this, and we can do the exact same thing to the other one. So let's lay it down flat, take a number 9 and insert it into these I's and J's like that. And be sure that you have 2 different edges here on number 9. I'm putting this grainy side down here facing towards the door so it disappears. And then using a screw from bag D, tighten one up right here and the other one right here. Once that one's on tight, let's grab board number 12. Again, putting the grainy edge down this way to kind of hide it and insert it into the long rails of I and J over here. And using the screws from bag letter D, tighten one up right here and the other right here. Now we'll decide where we want to place our shoe rack. And underneath the top piece right here, there are 2 holes where we'll want to mark our wall where those holes are at. We can use a pencil to line those up. Now I'm going to use my power drill with a 1/4 inch bit to start those holes. And then from bag L, I'm going to fill them with one of the drywall screws. And I'm just going to hammer that in gently. And then I'll realign my shoe cabinet to match that hole I've made. And then I'm going to fill that hole with one of the bolts from bag letter N. And now those bolts should keep it from tipping forward off of the wall. And now we're going to attach our drawers to the cabinet by aligning these holes right here in the side with these holes right here. And we're going to connect them with these pieces right here from bag letter H with one of the screws right here from bag letter D. So the screw will go in like this, that will go through this hole here, pointing in this direction, and then finally connect through here. And we'll do that same thing on both sides. And with those inserted, we should be able to move the drawer like this, and it should stop on its own as this piece contacts up here. And now we'll repeat that process up here, starting by taking one of these pieces from bag letter H and inserting a screw from bag letter D. And we'll get those started through these holes right here by making sure the screw points outwards, and then we'll connect that to the inside over here. I find it's easier to get one started and then get the other started, and then we'll get both of them tightened up. And now both of them should be solidly installed like this. Now we can get both of those drawers open like this. Now we can take a number 12 board, and again we want to hide this edge of it right here, and we're going to take this railing right here, and we're going to slide these in right along that railing like this until they slide into place. Now we'll take one of our remaining screws here from bag letter D, and we'll screw it into place right here. Now you can see there are two holes right there. That's because there's two different orientations that you can put this number 12 board. I think they're pretty similar. I used the top orientation here. So I'll use that screw right there on top and tighten this into place. And now I can do that same thing on the other side. And now that's nice and solid, we can close that and move on to the other one. I'll slide in the number 12 board right here and lock that into place, and then tighten it up with the screws. And there you go, the job is completed. Now we can happily fill it with our shoes. And I got 6 pairs of shoes in this one, and 4 adult shoes and 3 pairs of child shoes in this one. So in total, I got 13 pairs of shoes in here. Now we put a plant on it to make it beautiful, and we look at how awesome our shoe collection looks in this stylish shoe cabinet. Overall, pretty simple to put together, and it looks great.